Hello, in this video we will discuss about the population collapse or decline of population. So in the recently the theoretical explanation will be outcome here. And let's begin to understand in human is a reproduction, human population size. So in human is a reproduction in human population size we will discuss and decreasing of the population size as well as how to increase it. So remember, this is the decline. In the current phase, we are going to increase the population, but drastically will be decreased after the several years. So here is the graph which that is showing the normal population in our world is 7.753 billion. So this is showing the graph vertically is the in the form of billion, 4 to 8 billion. So on the other hand, the horizontally show the years from the past year to now and from the past year to 2000. So in this way here you can see 1800 to 2000. In this way, due to food productivity, health, industrial revolution, that is going to increase 2.06% increase annually this population, and it is going to continue and it's going to increase. Why? Because the food productivity and health as well as industrial revolution which that is creating more food, more health awareness as well as more technology. So due to worldwide total fertility rate decreased to collapse. How? It has declined 1.05% already discovered in the several countries. For example, as 2020, it will be 2020 will be decrease will begin to decrease. So here is a graph which that is showing 1988 to 2100. So in this way it will be going to decrease after the 2020. So in this way here is going to decrease from here is basically the maximum is 92.9 million while the per year, while the 81.3 million per year will be and ultimately going to zero. The example of this emerging trend in Japan, in this way the 2015 to the 2020, which that is the population declining due to the 0.2% decrease per year due to the inhibition of the reproduction, for example one kid per couple. So that is why that is that going to decline while the older age living longer or older age persons living older age people's living longer, and it means the inhibition should be. So the China whose population could start declining in 2027 or sooner. By 2050 the Europe's population is projected to be declining at the rate of 0.3% per year. So let's begin to understand the declining and the factor affecting the declining. First of all, we should need to understand this is the earth and this is the country, and we know about that we are going to migration from one country to another country. So that is also the declining factor because the young people are going to another country. So it means the declining of the young person will lead to decrease the reproduction. So the population growth has declined mainly due to the abrupt decline in the global total fertility rate. So the total fertility rate when decreased from 5.0 in 1960 to 2.3 in 2020 will be. So in this way the fertility rate when decrease, it means the young person will be decreased while the older will live in the current country, but the younger person will going to another countries. The migration is the best factor for declining of the population. So the demographic transition is the second factor. In this way the high birth rate and high death rate which that will going to low birth rate and low death rate, and this is basically high birth rate and high death rate will decrease the population. But in this way, the technology, food, education, economic development, health, fitness, and food products, women, education, social, political, economic factors, which that will going to effect to the low birth rate but low death rate also. When death rate will be low, so the population will be increased. That means the infertile population will be due to the older age person, and the low birth rate means the younger person will be declining. So the five stage of the demographic transition we will discuss here. In this way, the birth and death we will analytically understand with this graph. So in this way, vertical shows that the birth and death rate for understanding 1,000 um, individual per year. So in this way, the 1,000 individuals increase or decrease per year in the containing total population 1,000. So in this way, the total population individuals 1,000, which that we can identify with easily. So here is the stage 1 to 5, which that showing after the development as well as after the stability of the population, and rate of death will be decreased. So the rate of reproduction, rate of birth will be in decrease also. So this is basically due to the political or social and economic factors. In this way, which that will be, the country will inhibit the production of more individuals. So in this way, here is the total population graph is showing, in which that will be lead to increase annually. So in this way, here you can see the blue color showing the birth rate, while the black color is showing the death rate with the passage of stage. And in this way, remember, this is the analytical identification and understanding. So in this way, the birth and death rate we will discuss, and this is the basically death going to downward decline with the passage of time. So the death will be decreased. When the death will be decreased, it means the rate of reproduction will be increased. So this is the birth natural increase. For example, the bacterial colony also same mechanism. So let's begin to understand. This is the 10 to 40 vertically shows that 10 to 40 variability with the year wise. In this way, the 10 to 40 increase or decrease. So in this way, you can understand. So after 1 year, it can be increased to 1,040 individuals. So that means the growth of the population will be increased. While here is the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4, which that is showing in the figure. You can understand birth and death. So here is the birth and death. In this way, the birth will be high with the initial stage 1, and death will be also high. In this way, the death and birth rate will be high. 40% will be die and 40% will be born, or 38. So 38 will be die. So drastically it will be stage 2, which that will lead to high and falls far rapidly. And this is the basically the demographic pyramid, which that is showing in the figure. And in this way, the stage 3, which that is leading to birth falling, but the falls more slowly the death. So in this way, the death will be more slowly, so the resources will be limited, so we can inhibit the our production and the reproduction. So in this way, here is the stage 4, which that is the low death rate, and also the birth rate will be low. So the falling and then stable. So the little change in the stage 5. So let's begin to understand the stage 1, that is the pre-industrial society. This balance until the late 18th century. When this balance end is Western Europe, and stage 2 is the developing area, food supply and health maintenance. And in this way, that is why the stage 2, which that will be a high birth rate while the death rate will be decreased. So on the other hand, the stage 3, which that is the birth rate fall due to various fertility factors, and in this way the birth rate will be down fall, but the death rate will be stable. In this way the death rate when stable, so the inhibition of the production of the individuals in the country wise, which that will lead to population collapse. So on the other hand, the stage 4 and 5, in this way you can see the birth rate and death rate will be equal, and the stage 5, the slight increase in fertility rate. So when the slightly increase the fertility rate for stability, but in this case the basically the population increase. So in this way resources will be limited, so we can apply the rule for the inhibition of the production for one kid for each couple. In this way, the decreasing of the population drastically will lead to collapse, and in this way, the collapse which that will lead to going to zero the population when the infertile individual will be zero. So a country requires for the stability of the population 2.1 children per woman. The number is greater than 2 because all children not live to adulthood because disease, accident, and there are a lot of things. So that is why let's begin to understand with the two individuals, which that is female and male, which can be reproduced male and female, that is adult. And in this way the inhibition will be occur due to the some factors and maintain the population due to the two individual, but in this case jobs, food, wealth, time, serving, female education, developed country, which that will be inhibit these two individuals, male and female for example. In this way the inhibition will lead to decrease the population due to less reproduction. So in this way the one children if will possible will decrease and decline the population, and in this way the declining of the population, this inhibition of the two and the apply the rule for production of one individual will lead to basically maintain the population, but it will disrupt the population and infertility after 45 years aged women, and in this way the infertile person will be increased. In this way the rapidly decrease after the death of the older person, and the younger person will be decreased, so the ultimately the population will be decreased. So the summary in we will discuss so the population growth we will discuss just with the summary and how to decline, and that is graph that is showing vertically population while the horizontally time. So the rapid growth due to the resources availability, high resources, for example food, and developed country age will be increased and controlled due to the stationary phase, and rapid growth to stationary phase, and in this way the stationary phase will be occur. For example, in our population throughout the world is going to rapid growth phase due to the food, space, time, technology, environment, industrialization. While on the other hand here is the we are here no because growing whole world. But how it's possible to decline the population rapidly, drastically? Due to the infertility, increased anti-aging, aged women survived due to the well and good environment and healthy environment in the country, natural disaster, diseases, pandemic diseases, and female education and wealth issue, which that will lead to inhibit the reproduction due to the late aging and aging after the infertile infertility will be occur, which that will lead to decrease and population collapse. So I hope you make sense about these things. The population collapse is due to the decreasing of the population due to the less growth, less reproduction. So this is the population collapse, decline of population. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe.